We're excited to announce the general availability of hybrid search in Mosaic AI Vector Search. And so this blog post just explains why hybrid search is important, how it works, how you can use it to improve your search results. So, Maria, why hybrid search and what is it?
Yeah, so before the hybrid search, what we were doing is we were using pre-trained embedding models to represent our data, and that is cool, that is excellent. However, these pre-trained models were not trained on our data, and they don't have explicit knowledge of our data. So that is the problem. So that is why hybrid search is actually really good, because we learned the keywords in the index, and we serve this on top of the vector search index. So the keyword search index is trained on your data and thus has a lot of knowledge of the names, product keys, and anything else that is very bespoke to your business and situation.
Got it. So when should you use it? Like, when is it useful to use that?
So the advice here is, if in your business domain you have very critical keywords in your data set that cannot be represented, by publicly available data set, then that is an excellent use case of using hybrid search. So for example, if the question refers to a specific product code or specific terms in your business that you need to match exactly, that is where hybrid search shines. And we encourage you actually to try both and see what works best in each case.
Got it. So how do you use it? Because I understand you use it in Mosaic AI Vector Search. Is it the same UI or is it a separate product?
It's excellent because nothing really changes. So all indexes you are building have access to the hybrid search from now with no additional setup at all. So the keyword index is trained on all the text of your corpus, and it is and then it has automatically access to both the text chunk as well as the metadata field. So it's being served alongside the regular index you had before. So if I go to the demo, so this is nothing different. We've showed you before, like how you can use the DB demos to start creating some small demos on Databricks, and that is the simple rag demo. And if you go to the place where you are starting creating the index, exactly is the same code, nothing changes. So we're building here the index and we are kind of kicking it off. We are waiting for it to be alive. But the thing that changes is on the search. So that is the original way of doing search without the hybrid functionality. So if you remember, we're getting the index and we're performing similarity search. Given the question, we're returning specific columns and the number of results we wanted. And in this case, the results are some documentation. You can see here, the question was, how can I track billing usage on my account? And you see the results returned from the original non-hybrid search. It is view the billable usage logs. This is kind of legacy, it's not very correct. You can see here that it returns the Lakehouse Monitor expenses preview and also the view billable usage using the account console. Now, if I want to perform hybrid search, as we said, we don't have to re-index or do anything crazy to our index. We do exactly the same functionality, we perform similarity search, it's just we pass as query type hybrid. So now what this is gonna do is use also the keyword search to apply it to my original index. And as you can see here, returning again three results, the results are a little bit different, right? So the first one, the legacy one, doesn't really exist. We see here that the first one is the View Lakehouse Monitor expenses, so the feature is public preview, and the other one is deliver and access billable usage logs. And the last one is mainly sample queries that you can hit to see how to ask questions basically about your clusters and your compute. So you see that the documents returned are a little bit either ranked or some of them are actually completely new, and that has to do from the hybrid search. And again, depending on your use case and what you want to achieve, you have to try and see what works best for your use case. Again, if you have specific keywords, probably the hybrid search will be the best.
Got it. So to recap, just to make sure I understand, so when you build your vector index, there's no change at all because the settings looked exactly the same. So it's more when you query, there's just this query type and that you change to hybrid. And this means that it's going to look at the keywords in my query text and it's going to look for those keywords, but there's no additional, I don't need to compute embeddings or anything. Like that's everything, all the complexity is handled
Yeah, behind the scene.
under the hood.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Great. And so you mentioned that we get different results. And in the blog, I think they're mentioning the fact that you can get better quality. What can you expand on that and explain what are the conclusions, of this blog post in terms of, quality
Yes.
improvement?
So in terms of quality improvements, they were tracking one specific metric, and that is recall, and that is how many times the relevant chunk was actually retrieved in the returns, in the number results that were returned by the similarity search. So how many times the chunk we wanted to answer our questions was actually returned in the top 3 or to the number of results we are returning. And what they found is that with hybrid search, with less number of documents, you can get higher recall. So if we start capturing here the number of documents returned from the similarity search, if we say we return 10 documents across the vector search, the keyword search, or the hybrid search method, you can see here that with hybrid search, we achieve better recall faster, right? So probably we could have returned less documents to achieve the same recall as with the pure vector search, like before the hybrid search. Does this make sense? So we can achieve better recall with returning less documents, so faster in that case. And yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. You can also see that vector search outperforms keyword search in general, but then when you combine the two, this is where you get the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Which makes sense.
Exactly. And if you are really interested to see how the hybrid search is implemented, we have external documentation on how this is done. And that is it.